Firstly, hi everyone, Srikrishna here from Factors.ai. Thanks a lot for being here. One more thing is I'd like to express my gratitude to Pentathlon and also Startup TN and Superstrat and ECL for hosting this. My journey is I'm one of the founders and CEO at Factors.ai. Factors.ai is a signal-led ABM platform, which is what we call as account-based marketing platforms. We primarily work with B2B and software and SaaS companies to help them generate pipeline through marketing. So that's what our SaaS product does. We are similar to very large companies like Sixsense, etc. But we have a new innovative way of AI-powered account-based marketing. That's what we solve for. Now we are at 300 plus customers, right from large IT services majors like Tata Communications, Infosys, Capgemini, all the way up to SaaS companies like Freshworks, Sprinkler, or all our clients. So that's what we have been doing. It's been 4 years since we started up. Founders, myself, Praveen and Aravind. Praveen and I spent almost 8 years at InMobi. I was running on the general management side, a $100 million P&L at InMobi. Praveen was on the data product side, and both of us met there and then we joined together. Aravind, my third co-founder, is my college classmate. Later, he was an engineer at Google. He sold his first product to Freshworks. That became the FreshChat product. So he was here in Taramani for a couple of years. Before then, we all got together to start up again. So it's this is like a second startup journey for us, and that's what we have been doing. The first thing is about the early acceleration journey. So one thing which you need to always cover is as a founder, you come with a certain idea. That is, this is the product. This I think is I'm going to cover for this set of market. So when we started off Factors.ai, it was very, very clear we wanted to solve for marketers to understand one analytics of how their marketing is working, giving dashboards to them, and most importantly for them to know which campaigns are working, which campaigns are not working, which is what we call as attribution journey. That's how we started, and we started in a general theme saying that it can be B2C or B2B, but the goal was almost every company spends on marketing, but the standard trend is I know 50% of my work marketing works. I don't know which 50% is actually working is what people say. So we want to solve for that to know if you're running marketing across, let's say, digital campaigns, Google, Facebook, or LinkedIn ads, etc., or even organic, which campaigns are working, which blogs are working. For example, you spend $2,000 to writing out a lot of content, which content pieces are actually attracting your consumers? Or second is you spend $5,000 on your Google ads, which keywords are actually working? Does Google ads actually work for me at this stage? I want to spend on LinkedIn ads. Does LinkedIn ads actually work? So that was the original thesis which we started off with. And then once we had this thesis, we went after design partners to whether it's Chargebee or Freshworks or a couple of other companies saying that, okay, you have great marketing teams, you have spent a lot, let me sit and optimize the things for you. One mistake here is how do you choose your first initial design partners? It's very easy for you to say hey, you are my friend, you have worked with us in the past, do you have a problem, let me solve something for you. Rather, the first thing which you need to do is go after totally cold prospects and ask them is this a problem for you, let me go and solve for it. It looks much harder to get the first 10 customers or 15 customers, but the first thing large mistake which most founders do, including us do, is we go after known prospects, rather totally go cold using LinkedIn or email. Pitch your problem very, very clearly, just how you will pitch to a founder or any other teammate or even to your investor saying that this is the problem which I'm solving for. Can we do a POC? Specifically, if you can do a paid POC, which can be backdated. If you don't get traction for that, then your ideas need to change over a period of time. So sample mistake which is there is we started with analytics and attribution. A lot of companies who knew us wanted to talk to us. They'll give an initial target of let's say $5,000 for you to solve the problem. You can go and start building. What they actually have as a problem will be totally different from what you are trying to solve. The market you want to solve for, whether it's actually scalable. So you'll end up going into the services route instead of actually starting to build a product. On the other hand, if you socially market yourself saying that this is the problem which I'm solving for, is this specific problem there for you, then you'll actually attract the right kind of design partners. And this is a lot more nuanced. It's how do I get it? Or a lot of times people say okay, these customers, even though they are actually friends, but they are actually having a clear problem. Always be questioning yourself at multiple times whether they are actually your design partners or people who are trying to help you because you are starting up. Second thing is the whole alignment aspect within this. Founders, team, product, geo, quantum of money. For example, founders alignment is across board, all three of you or two of you or just if you and your team, you guys need to be very, very clear this is the problem which you are going to solve. This is how you want to solve it, and this is the market you want to go after. It's very easy to think we can build a lot of things because you have a great engineer in the team, or it can the market looks like 1 trillion, let's go after each and everything. any distractions at that point in time is going to be like a unnecessary waste of 12 to 14 months. For example, we started very early with our AI journey. We wanted to do goal seek analytics, which is basically like you put any goal and we'll optimize for that goal. Only thing is it was too early for the market and too early for the kind of customers and the problems which we are solving for. We had to solve for base problems before we wanted to go for an AI problem. AI can surely come in later, but we want to do that. Unfortunately, we did 2-3 product launches on those lines, which didn't really take off, which we had to shelve it until we solved for other more simpler things before we get into it. So in a sense, what I'm trying to talk about is like, as founders, if you identify a problem and if you have prospects talking about a specific problem, you go ahead and solve for it and build for that rather than trying to go after your fancy thing which you want to start working on. It's very difficult. It's like a nuance where like it's very easy for you to feel like this is so amazing, people should like it, rather than going after people and asking like, is this something which you actually like? Second thing is the team. Let's say you are trying to go after US customers and specific companies in a particular industry, etc. You hire SDRs or account executives or even particular people who can actually solve for that market. Rather than, let's say, your previous friends from Freshworks or particular the thing who would be good for selling an SMB product, which can be flying off the shelf for $2,000 or $3,000 ACV, versus you are trying to solve for a 50K ACV, it's going to be a huge mismatch. You're not going to get the sale momentum, or you're not going to get even the traction momentum which you want to aspire for, because you actually selected the wrong person to doing the wrong job. It can also come in the engineering side. If you're going to solve for a specific, or engineering or design, if you're going to solve for a specific PLG kind of a motion, or like you hire people who are solving for an enterprise kind of a motion, in terms of product design, in terms of development, in terms of your design, how do you structure the product roadmap itself, then it's going to be a huge mismatch. So what's going to happen is like, he's going to solve for more, for example, a SOC compliance or an ISO certification might not be needed when you're trying to drive a PLG kind of a product. Kind of like, on the other hand, a specific certification or a SOC certification or a longer product journey with customer support and solution engineering is needed if you're actually going to solve for an enterprise need. Vice versa, both sides, people can get hit, and we have our own journeys about it. The third thing is the product geometric. For example, if you want to target US-based customers and you want to target for a certain set of geography of customers, you have to build the product for that and focus only on that. Rather, it's very easy to get India-based customers or Southeast Asia-based customers. It won't actually match. And then you have to change the product down the line, and it's going to hurt you back in this thing. Quantum of money is, if you are lucky, you are able to convince people to invest in you before you actually start. A pre-product investments are pretty common here, like $2-3 million, which people come. Then you have the money to experiment and do some things over a period of time. If you don't have, then you have to wait it out. And you have to build the product, get the traction which is there. So coming back to the summary of the whole, this thing is like, one, choosing your right design partners, making sure your team, your founders, your GTM alignment, your geography alignment, all of those things set within this. This is the first 0 to 10 journey. Now from 10 to 100 is like, now you have all these things set, you preset all these things, and then you go after that set. That's when you can actually see the traction part. And this 10 to 100 path is when you start kind of chipping away on your product. You can call it a pivot, or you can call it as a kind of a refinement. For example, we started with like general marketing analytics and attribution product. Then we started figuring out like, it's going to be for B2B companies only. Within B2B companies, I'm going to target SaaS companies. And within these SaaS companies, I'm going to focus on only companies which are going to spend on LinkedIn ads, and only on LinkedIn ads only from United States. So this refinement comes. So for example, from originally thinking like for any company spending on marketing, I'm going to go and solve for them. It starts with saying that no, it's B2B. B2B is also very large. Let's go after software as a service companies because it's a pretty large system. Then from software as a service, there are a lot of software as a service companies. They have right from a Zoho to all the way up to a small, just a startup which is just running a Calendly app or something of that sort. But within them, I want to spend or work on companies which are spending on LinkedIn ads. So that refines it further. And even that, I'm not going to go after companies across the board. I'm going to go after companies which are only from United States. So for example, you look for your product to geo, you look for your founders to align with this kind of a B2B journey rather than B2C, and then you also work on the product to work on this. Why this changes things is, B2C, even a small website would have close to 100,000 to 200,000 visitors. So much amount of data to process and infra and other things to manage. B2B, even a ChargeBee at $100 million scale is like not more than 250K website visitors. Your Story, on the other hand, will have 45 million website visitors. Razorpay would have something around like 100 million website visitors, which means When you chose B2C to B2B, your product really changes in terms of what kind of infra capacity you're going to handle, what kind of analytics you're going to do, and how you're going to deliver. Second is the infra capacity also. For example, the GCP or AWS infra to handle 100 million is totally different from what you have to do for 100K, an amount of money you want to spend on this thing. Third is the kind of data you process. For example, in any B2B company, there is a CRM data, there is a website data, there is a channels data. B2C companies is just only website, there is no CRM outside that. Why this matters is then there will be questions about like you would have tried to build something like only based on website. Then you have to change the mentality like just website doesn't do, you have to integrate with 5 other CRMs. If you don't integrate with HubSpot, Fresh CRM, Zoho CRM and a couple of others, you can't start off a business at all if you want to do B2B. And this alignment comes from founders, then to team and then to product, and then you have to say like this is the market you want to go. Then the geo alignment comes. It's like I want to go after United States and I want to go after software as a service companies. Why this geo matters is then you say like okay, let's not do Zoho and Freshworks CRM. I will do only HubSpot and Salesforce. Even that I can keep Salesforce later, I'll do HubSpot because it's predominantly SaaS companies. So that's the product side, and then you can then do a B2B, you also corner it. Then you can say like for this I will price it at $8,000. I'm not looking at 50K, I'm not looking at $2,000, I'm looking at $8,000. So the pricing strategy evolves. So to sell to SaaS companies, can you sell from India also comes in. For example, if I'm selling for non-SaaS, I can't sell from India. You have to be there, you have to be at events, you have to work at multiple levels. But if you're selling to SaaS, they are actually comfortable with online sales. So if your background is from Freshworks, which you are comfortable with inbound and online and inside sales, then you can apply that if you want to do it when if you're coming from India to sell to US. So I'm just telling my experience. For example, there are other companies which sell for petrochemical companies for a software product for their, let's say, manufacturing facilities for 150K ACV. For that, you have to actually go and sit in Austin and then go and sell. On the other hand, if you're selling for SaaS companies for $8,000, you can actually sell from Bangalore or Chennai. This dynamics. Sometimes it's also be a partner-led motion. For example, if you're focusing on a LinkedIn side of a partnership, or if you're focusing on a HubSpot marketplace, all you need is a HubSpot marketplace system. For example, there's a great company called Plenty from Chennai. While they offer a sales engagement platform, what this means is like if you want to send emails to your prospects and your customers, etc., they will help you with running those email systems with drip sequences, etc. So identifying contacts, pushing them into an email and running a drip sequence and identifying how your email is working. That's what we call as a sales engagement platform. There are multiple companies there. Outreach is there, Salesloft is there. These are all working in different markets and other things. And then there is Plenty. India also there is Outplay. Outreach fundamentally focuses on a HubSpot and a Salesforce marketplace. So their customers are primarily users of Salesforce. When Plenty came about, they focused on Pipedrive, which is a totally different market, but what they did is they built their product for all Pipedrive customers. So Pipedrive is a $1 billion plus CRM, which is having huge number of customers. They were able to solve for that and sell through a Pipedrive marketplace. Similarly, for companies which solve for a HubSpot kind of a marketplace. For example, there is this company called Arrows.to, project management platform, but only for customers who are working on HubSpot. While it's very easy to say like how the founder started is I want to do project management. Hundreds of companies, whether it's from Kislo to Asana to each and everything. Then I say like I want to do project management for SaaS and software companies. Great. There also there's a huge set of companies. I want to do for SaaS and software, but those who are working on HubSpot. Then it becomes even more refined. Then it's easier for you to sell for that particular market because once you narrow it down, you can actually sell. If you don't narrow it down, you don't see all this fit alignment coming into place. It's been another 18 months, depending on money, emotions, so many other desperations and other things, the loneliness of being a founder, all of those things start kicking in. This is one part which I want to talk about. The second thing is the mindset of Plenty and mindset of inevitability. So this is a pretty different thing. It's pretty common knowledge. Plenty is like you have to always feel that there are always customers and there are always more and more customers if you want to sell. This is the 10 to 100 customer part. For example, you have to be consistently be able to walk away from deals. This is what I solve for. This is my product. This is a specific feature which I solve for. And this is the price I want. If this is not there, I'm going to walk away. For example, there are hundreds of customers, whether it's like in our own experience, and I'm trying to share it here, please don't quote me here, this thing, for example, Razorpay, amazing customer, one of the largest B2B companies, which is, and also fintech companies which are there. They had huge amount of data, but they wanted to solve for a specific product analytics plus website analytics use case. We wanted to solve for a marketing analytics use case. And they were willing to pay us $50,000 a year. So for example, what I would have got from 10 customers, I'm able to get from one customer, and this can actually scale up to 100 to 150K. And they're able to easily pay. They liked us as a team, and they saw that the product is able to solve for it. They wanted to do it. One thing which you need to take a call is like, I want to walk away here because I want to solve for this specific use case because that's what I have aligned my team for. and my engineering and my resources, everything, and infrastructure, everything for. Second is, there will always be more leads and more customers for me to make up this 50K for. So internally you have to say like, I can easily get 20 more customers to solve for this use case rather than solving for one company for this use case just for this money. The last thing is about GTM motion consistency. So you have a lot of advisors. You have for entrepreneurs, other people you can look at. You have competitors. For example, your founders or your team, like that guy is doing something, why don't you do that? They are doing an event in SaaS, $70,000, why don't you do that? Or this company is sponsoring a lot of LinkedIn ads, why don't you do that? This company is spending so much on outbound, they have hired 5 SDRs and doing, why don't you do that? Whether an investor will ask, or someone will come in like, why don't you take a O1 visa, go to US and start selling there? All these things. Or like someone else coming and saying like, you have to do 100K deals only, you have to go after IBM as an enterprise, go sit there in New York and find a way to do it. There are a lot of ifs and buts, whether you want to do it, that's alignment and other part. Second thing is you need to focus on like one GTM motion and make sure that works. And you have to align it based on what works for you. Whether it's inside sales, SDR, if you had worked with Freshworks and all that works. If it is Google search based or like ads based, paid search and other this thing, you can work on that. Or if it is basically like content based, a lot of companies like Survey Sparrow, so many this thing built their whole business around content. They were able to consistently churn out 25 to 30 blogs on a monthly basis so that they can get organic inbound working so well for them. Each one has a specialty. Just because they did organic inbound doesn't mean that you can do it or you have to do it, or just because someone else did paid search you have to do it, or someone else has a SDR team they have to do it. Each one requires a different founder mindset and a team mindset also. You have to align with one GTM motion, and this GTM motion shouldn't change for the first 100 customers. So all the customers you deal with, the first 100 customers should be from your single GTM motion. If you change the GTM motion to multiple things, focus also goes off. For example, it's easy to, where people say from 100, why don't you become 1000, let's do more of some other things and events. You'll start investing, you have to do a lot more work for that, time, hiring the right people, processes, and also conversion this thing, and then the frustration of what works, what doesn't work, hypothesis testing. Rather you focus on one thing and make it work. For example, paid search, crack the hell out of Google search keywords, PPC and other things which work. Content, work with freelancers, other this thing, making the best content possible so that you can churn out so much this thing so that after end of 6 months, there is an organic flow. Partner, make sure you are in the app marketplace and so that you, app market SEO pushes you up, whether it's Pipedrive or HubSpot or whatever it is. Or if you're doing something like events, work out the events. But what we are talking about is the new way is the signal based ABM, which is there. So what we call about signals is like any sale effort or any sale person is using signals. So for example, if you are selling a sales commissioning platform, you look at like this company has recently raised funding, they have also hired a new CRO, maybe he would like to have a new sales commission product. So let me go and pitch to them. This is what a salesperson takes signals from this thing. What we do at Factors.ai is basically aggregate all signals from a buyer journey and then see which signals matter, score accounts based on these signals and then activate them. So what I'm trying to say is like signals can be from, let's say, website signals, which companies are coming to your website, which companies are looking at your pricing page, which companies are looking at your demo page, which companies are looking at your blogs. That's one signal. Second is like which companies are coming from specific competitor keywords. If I'm Everstage and if I'm running keywords around Spiffwork alternatives or etc., which are the companies which come all the way through Spiffwork alternatives to my website and don't convert. Why this matters is if you spend on 100 clicks, each PPC is $10 on Google, barely 5 or 7% of them will actually convert. It's actually a very good number. What happened to the remaining 93 clicks? Nobody randomly searches for Spiffworks alternatives, comes all the way to your website and not sign up, right? So you can take that signal. These are the companies which have come from these signals. Similarly, the same thing, the previous point which I made. Nobody randomly visits your B2B website. Which companies are actually coming and visiting your pricing page or your blog? Then another signal is like which companies are looking at your review sites. Like who are the ones who are actually looking at your G2 profile? Who are the ones who are looking at your G2 alternatives? Who are the ones who are looking at your Captera site? Then another one is like which companies are looking at your LinkedIn ads. When you run LinkedIn ads, you can actually target at account and title. So which companies are looking at your LinkedIn ads, you can get from your LinkedIn ad signals. So what we do is, or you can also do the other one, which companies are opening your emails. Receiving email is one thing, which companies are opening your emails, which companies or which users are clicking on your emails. So we bring in all these signals to say like of overall total addressable market. That is, for example, the earlier ABM was like looking at overall TAM, but within that TAM can be 10,000 companies, but within that TAM, which are the companies are the right fit for me? Which are the companies which are showing right intent based on like signals, like they're looking at my pricing page or coming to a particular keyword, and within that, which are the companies are basically kind of like at the right context also. That is like, did they come from a keyword? Did they come from a review site? What stage of the buying journey they are? Are they just browsing? They're coming and bouncing off the page or not? All of those things you can see, and then you target them. This is what we call as a signal-based marketing or signal-based sales. That's a new trend. In a very simple sense, instead of going after 100 prospects, you go after 10 or 15 of them and then get the same sales results. In a parallel universe, let's say you are at a wedding or if you are at an alumni meet or something, if I say go and say hi and make friends with all the 100 people in that alumni meet, it's going to be impossible. I mean, you'll personally sweat it out and you can't meet everyone and you can't make a customized introduction for each of them. But if I rather say these are the 10 people who are actually from your school, these are the 10 people from your batch, these are the 10 people who are living in the same area or city of you, then it's more easier for you to convert them. The same thing applies for your B2B targeting as well. That is like you have a universe of 10,000 companies or 1,000 companies, but don't go after the entire universe. Go after the small select set of them who actually matter for you, who are showing right fit, right intent, the right context. Once you get all these three, then you can actually approach them with the right message. Why this matters now than earlier is B2B marketing has significantly shifted after COVID. Almost every company has a digital presence, is available on LinkedIn, is actually most of the buying decision is made 90% before actually even talking to you on a call or something, which means a lot of decision making is happening in terms of multiple signal touch points which is there. Most importantly, the second thing is now we are able to capture all these signals. Earlier, G2 was a separate island. Your email is a separate island, the CRM data is a separate island, LinkedIn ads is a separate island. What's happening is your website is a separate island because your content marketing team will focus on your website. Your CRM and RevOps team is going to be separately under revenue. Your G2 would be on a product marketing side which is there. Now you can combine all these signals and see which companies are matter. The second part of why this is important is, or this is a new trend is, recently you might have seen both Gmail and Outlook have implemented spam rules after February. Almost every single company with certain spam words or certain just general outbound, non-known outbound will put it either into promotional or it will go into the spam folder. This is a two-way problem for them. It's like one, they say that they want to give the consumers a non-spam world. The other one is that thanks to both sales engagement platforms like Outreach, etc., and with AI, with ChatGPT, the number of emails have actually gone exponential. So it's an infrastructure problem for them which they want to contain. And second is there is so much spam. You might have yourself seen your own inbox where like so much of segregation around promotions, updates, everything happening. And that's a consistent trend which is going to go. So emails, you won't get the same reply rates. 10 years back, if Freshworks, if you send 100 emails, you will get actually 10 to 15 replies. If now you send 100 emails, you won't get even one reply. Which means email, at a generic email of sending all to your customer or all prospects will never work. So you have to say that this customer has actually come to my website, shown interest, hence I'm going to send him so that I can get a reply. So you need to make sure your number of volume of emails are lower, but you can make that up with better personalization and then target. So that's the part which what we call about signal-based sales. Cold outbound, as what we know it, is more or less dead. Which is like taking a list of like, in Freshdesk we used to say like all the list of Zendesk customers, get all their email IDs and send them a mass email campaign, we'll get 150 replies and 20 customers from that. That's actually gone. Now you have to say like whether those Zendesk customers, where they are coming from, which keywords they are looking at, etc. Second thing which is also happening is you're spending a lot on clicks. Earlier the cost per clicks used to be $3, $5 even for a Zendesk keyword. Now it's minimum $45. Which means to get 10 people to click you have to spend $450. If 10 people click, barely one person actually signs up. What happens to the remaining 9? How do you convert them? Can you make it actually 2 people sign up rather than 1 person sign up? All of those things become more important. So generally there are more SaaS tools, more information on the web, so many people searching and clicking, which means you have to optimize better. The same problem which B2C also has, which is like getting each and every customer is hard. So you need to upsell to each and every customer, which is there. This is what the signal-based sales and signal-based ABM works, which is there. One last thing, this is a trend which is there, a little bit of a product marketing from my own side, but this is something which I guess everyone should adopt even from a very early stage. If you have a website, bring in a website identification software to know who is coming to your website. If you are sending emails, try to track who are actually opening up your emails. If you have a G2 profile list or if you are spending on LinkedIn ads, try to get a software to see who are actually seeing your LinkedIn ads. All of this will actually make your GTM far more efficient and focused and get you customers than doing other things. Buyers and hard interviews. We had a great product, great team, we had a great idea. We just thought like people have to buy us rather than going and asking people for interviews. So don't do that mistake. First actually Shekhar Kirani made a very good observation for us. So when we pitched to him, he was like, you guys are great guys, just take, Naveen is giving you 250K, he will also give you 500K, just take 1 year and just spend this money and figure out what you want to build. I will also suggest ideas on what you build, later you can figure out. We were like, no, we really like analytics, we want to build there. So better thing is like spend time with prospects, customers, hard questions before you get that, what you want to build, how you want to build, etc. Hiring and sales, culture, company, product, geography, all these things matter, which is there, and also luck, huge. The last thing which is, this thing is very, very important, is like early traction and funding. What you can do at a certain level is, everyone, if you want to go into the investor path, which is there, you have to show significant traction in the first couple of years, which is like you can take 1 year to build a product, you have to take 1 year to get to 1 million, 2 years you're at 1 million, and somewhere around 3.5, 4 years you're at 3 or 4 million. If you don't get there fast, investors are not going to look at that possibility, which means the narrow down and focus. That is like, you do so much of buyer meetings and interviews, you don't even launch a product. You sit together and make sure you launch the product with the right GTM so that you can attract brand and awareness far better, which is what the journey is, that is marketing before the product comes in place, where you create the brand, where like you create the community, you talk about, everyone is talking about your brand or what you are solving for much before you have launched as a product. And you also know exactly this is the use case you are going to solve for very, very clearly. Then when you launch, from launch to 1 million will be 1 or 1.5 years. If you don't do all those things, if you start building before doing something, then you'll build for 18 months, then you'll figure out like this is not exactly what you want, then you have to change positioning, communication, engineering, your cycles, everything, that kind of target market. There'll be churn also because you don't want a certain set of companies, you won't maintain that product. Then it'll take 2.5, 3 years before you reach 1 million. Then it will take another time. So what market will say is like, these guys are slow growth people, let them wait. Classic example. Traction matters because like Freshworks, within I think 1 year, I think they reached 5 million. Then they kept raising money, and they basically, the pitch was like, Sridhar Vembu won't take your money, I'm going to take money and build the next Zoho, fund me, and they built the whole larger this thing. ChargeBee took 4 years to get to 1 million. From there it became this thing, but all this past karma, you end up losing a lot of money. You raise from Tiger, then like they want to sell out that company, then you have to have the hard conversation whether we can sell and make money or wait and do something else. All those things happen. Another classic example is Hyperverge. Amazing company from Chennai. Maharishi Vidyamandir, IIT Madras kids. They actually started building the product right from second year in college. They were actually making money in a couple of crores when they were college students. All this thing. And then they went and took money, NEA, massive Silicon Valley investor, a lot of money came in. And other this thing, and they went on B2C. 2 years money went out, no customers and revenue. Then they actually went to zero. They had two choices, either to sell to Amazon, make some money, or do something else which they want to do. Sridhar Vembu came, said that we'll give you money, go enterprise, don't do consumer. Then they built from zero to I think 15 or 16 million dollars revenue now. Completely bootstrapped, profitable now, more than 200 people working in that company, which is there. So the larger point is like, if you do early mistakes, that is, they could have chosen enterprise much earlier in this thing and they could have gone into a much different kind of an orbit. But if you don't do it, you lose a lot of money. Sometimes it will be a death, where like if you don't raise that money in the right time, or if you don't this thing, it will be a death. So whatever we are talking about is like, over the last 4 years, there could have been death situations where like if you hadn't raised money, or if you didn't have money in the bank, or if you didn't have some other things, things can go wrong. For example, both cases, whether it's delivery or in our own cases, we raised money based on our CVs only. It's like we had worked in Bain, we had worked in InMobi or Google. Smart guys, they'll eventually figure out something people were willing to fund. This is not going to happen for everyone. And even after that happens, it could have gone to a fail and then you can go into something else. So that's a larger thing. That's all.